I'm Natalie. Welcome to Not Just a Home Thing, a podcast by Two Pages. Today I'm joined by Stephanie. Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, great. How are you? Stephanie is an interior decorator, storyteller, and today we're talking about the space we create when we are learning who we are. So let's start with quick fire. Where are you today?
Toronto.
Wow, Toronto, lovely. How does Toronto feel for you?
Well, busy. Today it's
Uh-huh.
raining, so it's
Uh-huh.
really dull outside.
Uh-huh.
Um, I met up with some friends recently,
Mm-hmm.
so
Mm-hmm.
it's good.
Uh-huh. Wow, that's good. What's around you right now?
Besides this art, that's like the only fun thing. In front of me is just laptop and books, trying not to
Uh-huh.
that this phone doesn't drop.
How are you arriving this conversation, like emotionally, mentally, or creatively?
Good. I'm grateful that you chose me to be part of this. So I'm really honored that you thought about
Oh,
me. And
oh,
today's a really good day. So thank you so much for having me here.
yeah, I'm so glad. And I'm really excited too. I feel like there are so many beautiful layers in your story. So I love to begin at the beginning.
Okay.
To start us off, what do you remember most about the home you grew up in?
Well, it was very colorful. It
Mm-hmm.
was very homely.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite thing was the garden
Mm-hmm.
that we had. So the homes here in Canada are different from Nigeria. Here
Mm-hmm.
in Canada, you have like maybe like a townhome, or you have to be
Mm-hmm.
like an upper class person to have like a large what in Nigeria we call it compound, but it's just
Mm-hmm.
like where you have like your home, your garden.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I was used to. And
Mm-hmm.
then I moved to Canada later
Mm-hmm.
on and
Mm-hmm.
saw how like smaller the homes were, especially Toronto. Toronto, like everything is very boxed in.
Mm-hmm.
So having that background kind of made me miss childhood in a way and
Mm-hmm.
appreciate it more, especially
Mm-hmm.
for like what my parents did and all.
Oh, I love that. That feels so alive. Do you think growing up in such an open, welcoming home shaped the way you understand what a home can be?
In a way, yes, but I'll say more about in terms of how to receive people and how
Mm-hmm.
to be respectful, because when you have that kind of um, environment, when you grow up in that kind of
Mm-hmm.
environment,
Mm-hmm.
Nigerian culture is very rooted in respect. You have to
Mm-hmm.
respect your elders.
Mm-hmm.
So even if you have like a visitor come in to this stay over or just like see you guys and all, um, we needed to welcome them and make them feel at home, serve them
Mm-hmm.
food. I heard that there are some cultures that don't do that, but back home, that's you need to eat a lot of food. And
Yeah.
yeah, just a community around.
I love it. You mentioned that grew up in Nigeria. Anything design related was often referred to as architecture, right? What first draw you to that word?
So when I was in grade 8 or 9, one of them, we
Mm-hmm.
had this project in school
Mm-hmm.
because I went to boarding school. Boarding school is very popular back home.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
so it's not like you're a bad kid and they send you to boarding school. It's just normal for most families to send their children there.
Mm-hmm.
When we got back from school for, I don't know if it was summer or something, we
Mm-hmm.
had a project, a school project, a home econs project, and
Mm-hmm.
our teacher told us to um, have different images
Mm-hmm.
of the kitchen. So like you have the U-shaped kitchen, L-shaped kitchen, all that, those style. And they wanted
Mm-hmm.
us to have images and then write down what they look like. I
Mm-hmm.
told my mom about it and she got
Mm-hmm.
me like this huge coffee table book. It
Mm-hmm.
was like a
Oh,
design book. Yes,
wow.
I'd never seen anything like that before. It was very big. It was very modern and contemporary. And I remember
Mm-hmm.
just flipping through the pages and seeing all these designs flash in front of me. It's
Mm-hmm.
different when you watch TV and you
Mm-hmm.
notice the kitchens or the homes. I mean, you're like, okay, cool, but when I saw it in front of me, I just
Mm-hmm.
fell in love with it. After that, I decided that I wanted to kind of build my own with like
Mm-hmm.
3D, with like a cardboard paper, like scissors and all that. And I started doing that. I had a pen and paper. I drew like a floor plan. I didn't know it was called a floor plan at the time. I just sketched a rough idea of what I wanted my home to look like this make-believe home. And I started like using glues and all that to construct a 3D home. My dad came back, he saw it, and he was like, "Oh," because nobody knew that part of me existed. They knew I could draw, they knew I was artistic, but they didn't know I would want to go towards that direction. And he said, "Oh, architecture." And he had a friend that was an architect that had an architecture company. So
Mm-hmm.
he asked his friend if I could um, come and learn under him, like, what was this, summer internship? Yeah, so I went to an architecture firm to just learn some things before. And yeah, from then I was like, architect, let's do it. And then along the way, I realized this is way more technical. I
Yeah.
don't remember it being this hard when I first fell in love with it from the books. And it was later on I realized it was actually interior design that I should have gone for, not.
Yeah, that's so lovely, and it's really important to have parents notice something
Yes.
in you that early, right?
Yes, they've been
Yeah,
very supportive.
really lucky. When did you begin to feel that architecture wasn't quite your language, even if it was might be the closest one available that time?
It was when I tried to get into architecture school.
Mm-hmm.
So when I left high school,
Mm-hmm.
we did like a pre-college. There's something Nigerians do, some Nigerians. You do like a pre-college before you go into college itself.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember I tried to get into this school, and I didn't get accepted for my program. They gave me like a different program, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, okay, I'll keep trying to enter. And it didn't work out. Not until I graduated in
Mm-hmm.
2017, and I decided, I was like, what am I doing? Like, I need studio experience, because the program we did, we didn't really have studio experience. And I knew I was still
Mm-hmm.
artistic, but what we learned wasn't what I wanted. And then I decided to do a different program. That was when I came to Toronto to the school I wanted. They had like a studio experience there, so I went there. That was Judge Brown, and it was my professor that actually like called it out. She said, "Stephanie, why are you wasting your time in
Mm-hmm.
architecture? I think you should go into interior design." I'm like, "What?" Was that like? I haven't really done my research on it, and then I did it and saw like, oh my god, this is what I should have been doing all this while. Um, yeah, well, at least she called it out. She saw it, and because they would give us projects, right? And it's from those projects they'll see what you're capable of doing. And she saw it was interior design. And when I did my research, that was what I was meant to do.
Yeah. I can really relate to that. Yeah, I have my own version of that feeling too. I studied marketing in grad school, where a lot of data work. Like I have to use SPSS, SQL, Tableau, all of that.
Mhm.
Like it's too data, just not my thing. Yeah, and what I really enjoy is like now I really like connect with people, connect with
Yes.
human, the trust, the conversation, and the feeling someone is willing to share their story to me. I
Yeah.
feel it's so nice. So now I feel really lucky that Two Pages give me
That opportunity.
opportunity,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, the
Mm-hmm.
space to do more of thing like connect with different people.
Yes.
Yes, we're so lucky.
Very, very lucky.
We finally find what we really love.
Mm-hmm.
May I ask, was there a moment when interior decorating began to feel more personal, almost like a better language for what you have been trying to express all along?
Okay. So now, after my teacher had told me this, I
Mm-hmm.
decided to start applying for jobs in
Mm-hmm.
interior design studios, even if it was like an admin assistant, like just take me anything
Yeah,
right now.
yeah.
And no one would. So I finally got accepted to work for a furnishing company, like a furniture store. And there, sometimes they'll just leave me on my own. They're like, Stephanie, you know your thing. And I'll just help people. Everything came to me naturally. And I'm like, there's something here. I'm enjoying this more than I normally would with any other job, right? And after that, I had another job where I was a part-time admin assistant for like this luxury kitchen design company. And that was when I saw the almost the technical side to interior design. At this point now, with architect, they use mostly AutoCAD, at least at the time. I may be wrong, or they used AutoCAD. But interior design, they can use AutoCAD, but this particular designer for the kitchen design, she was using SketchUp. And I asked her, like, what's that software? She told me what it was. Then I remember going home and I went and looked at the curriculum for other interior design schools, what they were teaching them. I put it together, started learning by myself. So when I'd go to work during the day, I'd come back at night and just practice on YouTube. I took online courses, and it was like for months I was just studying, and I fell in love with the process. I fell in love with the journey, everything about it. It didn't feel like it was stressful. I was just enjoying it, and I would go till 4 a.m. Just
wow, what? 4 a.m.
Till 4 a.m. I could sit on the desk.
Right?
The passion, yes, the passion was there. And gradually I started posting it, and people started noticing, and that's how it was born.
Yeah, my professor always told us like passion is what I love it. I'm passionate. Now this kind of thing is how much you're gonna suffer for what you love.
Suffer, yes.
Yes. Like 4 a.m. What? Yeah, but you really enjoy it. I totally get it. I also feel it's so lucky. Like before with our resume ready, our body just kind of know what we really want. We're really simple.
Yeah, you just connect.
When you were first trying to enter this field, what did your life actually look like day to day?
Very, very normal. I didn't plan to go into business. That was never my thing. I don't like to be in the spotlight. I prefer to be at the background and help people. But since I couldn't get hired doing something that I loved, I decided to use this as a side gig on the side. And I'm like, okay, let me just take a few projects and do this and do that. But it was never supposed to be. It was meant to be like a hobby for me. And I remember later when I left that company and I went to another company, and I remember having like 2 jobs. I was working 2 jobs and doing my side hobby, my side business, and it was too much, way too much. I had to drop one. I'm like, okay, you guys, like this needs to stay on the side. This is becoming too much. But yeah, my day-to-day was mostly just work. And socialize once in a while.
Yeah, that's so real. I feel like you're basically building a whole second life after work.
Yes. You have your 9 to 5, and then you have the other one, the passion there, which that's how it's meant to be until you find your ground.
Yes, I agree. What did those nights actually feel like?
Do you mean the learning part or the business part?
Both.
Both. The learning part, let me see, it just felt good. Because I felt like I was learning something new. And I've noticed something about myself that whenever I have a new project or I'm learning something new that I haven't touched on before, I get excited and I can just put my all into it. Now the business side, that's where it gets tricky, because now things start getting in. You're like, well, what do you mean I have to budget this? I didn't think about that part. So you start doing the less fun things, and the entrepreneurship side, I would say, became a little bit lonely. I needed to find my like-minded people like me.
Mm-hmm.
Not a lot of people at the time were doing virtual design because that was COVID period. It was later on that people started like going into that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, I'd say lonely at first. Then I
Mm-hmm.
slowly started finding my tribe, my people.
Mm-hmm. And for me, to be honest, recently, I'm pretty messy season. A lot of change, a lot of
Wow.
uncertainty, and but however, I noticed when I really like sitting with this podcast conversation and
Yeah.
prepare for questions for everything, I feel I'm peace. Yes, yes,
But it comes naturally for you.
yes. I feel really focused on what I love. Yes,
That's good.
yes.
I feel like most people, if most people could have their day job as something they're passionate about, you'd
Yeah,
see a
yes,
shift in the
yes,
industry.
yes,
Um,
yes.
that's why I feel like most people, everybody should be an entrepreneur, one way or the other. Just it doesn't have to be like a big scale thing.
Mm-hmm.
Just a you need a way to fuel that passion, like put that passion into something or a hobby. For example, on TikTok, sometimes I see some women that knits with wool
Mm-hmm.
and they enjoy it, but they have like this Etsy store and all this, and you can still see that joy in
Mm-hmm.
their face. And yeah, it's good. If you have a hobby, then find a way
Yes,
to just put it out there and let people see it.
yes. When I focus, I feel my
Mm-hmm.
pain, my broken heart just feel better. And yeah, I just joined to this really focused flow state. What did you have to say no to this season in order to keep learning?
Mm. Trying to follow the crowd,
Mm-hmm.
because I feel like with interior design, there are a lot of trends. And especially when I started my business at first, I was still trying to figure out what direction I'd go in.
Mm-hmm.
And there were a lot of coaches out there, but I needed to discover myself first and say, okay, what is it that I want? Who are my clientele? I know this is what is out there. These are what other people are doing. And I did my research as well. So I needed to really tone down and say no to trends, say no to the Instagram culture of this is how you're
Mm-hmm.
meant to run your business, and
Yeah.
actually just roll my sleeves up and say, okay, put me out there. Let me discover it for myself and learn for myself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's hard to say no, especially when people have this idea of what you're meant to be or what you're meant to look like or how you're meant to do it.
Yes. And do you think that season taught you patience as much as it taught you skills?
A little bit of
Both.
both of them. um, Most people assume that when you start something, it's meant to go viral immediately,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not like that. You have to
Mm-hmm.
keep posting and make people see you and
Yeah.
know that they can trust you. So you won't get fired. I mean, don't get me wrong. There are some people that it can happen like that, and God bless
Mm-hmm.
them. But it didn't
Mm-hmm.
work that way for me. I had to be. There was a season in my life I needed to post every single day. And then once I knew people knew who I was, I
Mm-hmm.
reduced it a little bit. I said, okay, that's too daunting. Let's try at least 3 times a week. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so patience for sure. And skill, well, with skill, you have to keep improving. If
Mm-hmm.
not, you
Yes.
get left behind. Right now, I think one of the things I'm obsessed with is AI. And
Mm-mm.
I'm just seeing how I can use it in my own business. So that's
Mm-hmm.
something I'm learning as well.
Yes. Yes. I'm curious, what's your attitude to AI?
I love it.
You love it. Wow.
Love it.
Wow.
I'm going to take advantage of it as much as I can because I
Uh-huh.
don't want to be left behind. There are some people that are
Mm-hmm.
shy when it comes to it, but you have to keep your head up and just work with it, see how it's possible. Um, Especially with my virtual design, there were certain
Mm-hmm.
things that I couldn't do that I could do before that take me hours to do. For example, rendering. Rendering it used to take hours, and now AI can render, which is amazing. So, yeah.
Oh, that's so cool. I love
Yeah.
AI too.
Yeah.
I
It's
always
amazing.
deeply talk with AI, to be honest.
You see?
Like my professor. When you were still figuring things out, was there ever a part of you that feel foolish for wanting this so badly?
I won't say foolish, but I kind of understood why I wanted it. I'm someone that if I start something, I want to finish it. If I say something, I'm going to do it. So I needed, and that was my Achilles heel, if I'm saying it correctly, with architecture as well, because I should have realized that architecture wasn't for me, but I kept going and pushing, but it wasn't for me. But in this case, I'm like, no, this is for me. I have to keep going. So I won't say foolish for doing it. I don't. I've heard other people's success stories with how they've been working and pushing through, and you never know when that big break will come. So for me, appreciate the moments, keep helping as many people as you can, and keep going. As long as you're intentional with every step, it's okay.
Yeah, I really get that. I shared with you earlier before, like I'm from China. And
Yes.
I always love talk with people. Like my major for undergrad school is hosting, art of broadcasting and hosting. Yes, I love connect with people. I like storytelling. Part of why I came to American for grad school was because I did a summer program at Harvard when I was a
Wow.
freshman. Yeah, yeah, and I just really like attitude of the professor and the culture openness here. Yeah, that's the reason I start to my journey in here. However, as a non-native English speaker, there was definitely a season after graduation when none of my job were actually on camera, talk with people, or even talk with client. Just
Wow.
no, nothing.
Just behind the
Nothing.
scenes.
Yeah, just behind the scene. Like I can be a strategist, I can be an editor,
Yeah.
I can like plan for everything, but just never let me connect with people. I
Well, at least
suffer.
now you're doing it, and you're doing an
Yes,
amazing job. Like I
yes.
can't do what you're doing. I'm shy.
Oh, actually, I follow your YouTube. You're a
Oh,
YouTuber.
oh my God. Yeah, I'm struggling.
Your short video is so cute.
Thank you. Like it took me a minute to do it. And this was the side of entrepreneurship I was saying, no, I don't want to be out there. Can't I just do it from behind? And they're like, how will anybody know you? I'm like, okay, I guess we have to do this.
But now I'm so lucky. I finally find what I want to focus, what I really passionate about.
Good for you. Like,
Thank you.
good for you. This is so good.
Was there a moment when you stopped feeling like someone trying and started feel like someone becoming?
I think it came when I realized that imposter syndrome, having it, is normal for most people, and I needed to stop acting like I knew everything, like, or I wanted everything to be perfect. That's impossible. And the minute I let that go, that was when I just like, okay, this is me right now, guys. If I show up today on video and talk about this, you have to take it the way it is. I don't always have to look perfect for camera or have everything figured out. And I remember even when some upcoming decorators and designers would come up to me and ask me different things, I'll say, I don't really have the answer for this question, but this is how I did this. This is what I can tell you based on what I've worked on so far. Yeah, when I stopped trying to be perfect, that's when everything happened.
Yes, yes, yes. I feel, especially maybe we're female.
Yes.
I think for male, they always feel so confident. They always feel they're perfect. They feel so good. But as female, we always need to be like
The standards are always higher for us.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes. Do you think some people build slowly not because they lack talent, but because no one handing them a ready-made path?
Um, for people who build slowly, could happen two ways. The first set of people, it's either they are thinking too much about it and they want everything to be perfect before they put their legs out there to figure it out. Or there are other people who build slowly because their lifestyle does not permit them to build as fast. So it could be maybe a mom with like kids
Mm,
and they have like a full-time job.
mm,
Now, for those that are in the other category, I'll say just do it. There are some people that I remember when I first started, I was obsessing over websites, and
mm,
website is like the least important thing when you're
mm,
starting. I mean, don't get me wrong, yeah, you should have a website, but it's the least important thing. Not everybody goes to your website immediately. Once you have that, right now in today's age, you need a social media presence. If you can
mm,
start with that and maybe a form for people to fill out, you're good.
mm,
Because
mm,
there are some websites that will charge you for that. So you need to get ready. Like, okay, we're going to budget for this, budget for that.
mm, mm,
Just do it. Put your work out there. Um, I got my first clients without having a website. It was from me posting on my Instagram, not this Instagram. I had my personal Instagram. I was posting there, and my first project was a commercial project. So it was like an eye clinic,
mm,
and we did like new construction. At first, what he wanted us to do, he wanted me to just do like a floor plan, draw a floor plan
mm,
for him to give to his contractor. But I was like, I think I can do more. So I gave him, I used what they call it, SketchUp, to
mm.
show him like 3D versions. And I added like materials to show him what the inside could look like. And he said, oh, you're an interior designer. I said, decorator. And he said, can you help me with this? I said, yes. And that was how I got my first job without a website. So if you're thinking too much about it, you will waste more time. The person with the less talent but with better guts will move ahead of you.
Yes, yes, of course. Yes, I love it.
Okay.
And one thing that really stood out to me is how you not only build your own path, but also create a way to guide others into this field. When you started guiding others, did it feel like you were offering them something you once needed yourself?
In a way, yes. So when I think I talked about the part where I applied to jobs for interior design firms and I
Mm,
couldn't get in, which is
mm,
understandable. So I didn't have the skills then.
mm,
Um,
mm,
but now when these new people started, new designers, new decorators, some that had just finished school, some that were already doing a different career wanted to switch over because they knew that their passion was in interior decorating. When they reached out, and they asked, oh, is it possible to collaborate? I'm like, what is this? I've never heard of this collaboration before. And it wasn't something I'd seen out there where you have two designers working on a project per se,
mm,
unless you're under that company. So I said, okay, this is what I can offer you guys. I see that you're trying to build your portfolio, either to be able to get a better job or to have something for your business. So when people come to your page, you can see you've done a particular work. That's where I come in. Right now, I have projects coming in, so you and I can collaborate. But behind the scenes, I show them my way of doing things, just so
mm,
everything is uniform and the
mm.
client isn't getting like two different design ideas. That'll be tacky from my end, right? So at the end of the day, it's still a business. So we worked on that training part. I showed them the technical side, some of the things that I knew, and they brought in their skills, and we just collaborated on designs together. We took about, I can't remember how many people were, about 6 or 7 for a season. And then later on, I realized, I'm like, okay, I need a better strategy for this because now we're moving to a different phase in the business. And that's where the course came in, where I said, okay, I'll have a course. Anyone that wants to collaborate with me in the future, they would have to go through that course first. And when they're done with it, I'll still help them with their first project, but it doesn't guarantee that they'll collaborate with me with anything. I'll just help them with their own projects. But yeah. I think this new method will be better and it's more organized compared to before. Last time I was just helping everybody.
Okay. That's so cool.
Thank
And
you.
I feel it's so special.
Thank you.
Yeah. But not one day, but now I do feel for this podcast, it's not only my job, it's my thing. I want
Yes.
to help. I want to inspire more people, especially female. They
Mm-hmm.
can like deal with since life is crazy sometimes. We
Mm-hmm.
can control it, but acceptance.
Yeah.
Yes, I talk with different kind of people. All of us have different life and different perspective.
Yeah.
Yes, the story is really powerful. I
It
really,
is.
yes, I believe our story gonna inspire others to find their way
Yeah.
to face their life.
I listened to the other lady you interviewed, the one where she
Mm,
said her husband was
mm,
supportive of her journey,
mm,
where she had
mm,
to leave her job. And I'm
mm,
like, you know what?
mm.
More people need to hear others like that because what if you're in this position where nobody's supporting you? You need to know that there are actually people out there that have people supporting them, and maybe you don't like that job and you want to try something else. So what you're
Yeah,
doing is very, very important. Yeah, it's I'm so honored that you're putting our stories out there. So yeah,
yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's my first episode.
no, you're doing amazing.
Thank you. Did writing become another place where you could build the kind of world you wish existed?
Yes, yes, yes. It's besides the design parts, writing has always been like a baby for me, like my
Mm,
personal baby. Right from when I was younger, I used to play when I was very, very young. I used to play with dolls, like Barbie dolls. And
yeah.
when I got to the age where I couldn't play with them anymore, that's when I started writing because when I'll play with these dolls, I'll make up stories in my head. And then I'm like, okay, now it's time for me to just put it on paper. I could draw at the time, so I can still draw. So I'll sketch it out like how you have graphic novels and then write the stories. But then I got lazy from drawing and started just writing. So yeah, writing for me is creating a whole different world. Like that's why I write fantasy. It's like there are literally no limits to where I can go. I can say right now that I have three heads. And since it's a fantasy, like well, she said three heads it is. So
Yes,
yeah, and I
yes.
want people to just enjoy it. I want when children read my book or adults, I want them to feel good about themselves. No, I want it to have like good morals there.
Mhm.
Also, I'm coming from a God-fearing family, so that's also important. That my lifestyle also is good for people to view and also just be part of, even if I'm writing what I'm putting out there. If a parent is going to get my book for their kid, I need them to know that they can trust that my book is going to teach them good values and it's going to help with their imagination as well.
Yes, I love that.
Thank you.
Especially after I graduate, I have to deal with a lot of things. I truly need a space where I can find like how to say it, like fantasy world, like what I can feel safe, I feel I can rest. Yeah,
Yes.
what I really love. I don't have to know what it's gonna cost, but I just love it.
Yes.
I can be whatever of people I want, like
Mm-hmm.
enjoy my life.
Creativity is really important. People,
Yes.
it's if I wasn't doing this, I'll probably be a DJ somewhere.
Wow.
I'm serious.
What?
But I won't put it on social media. Nobody will know me. I'll just be like a DJ at some like rave or somewhere.
Really?
I like music. I do. I like music. I enjoy music.
Wow.
But again,
Wow.
it comes to the part where like, okay, you have to pick and choose what you want to do. Is this something that maybe in another life?
Wow, that's so cool. So do you like party in your home?
No, not party. No, I don't
Oh,
party in my home. Not party.
okay.
But I
Okay.
like. I like music. I like to dance. I
Uh-huh.
like,
Wow.
but then when it comes to going out for festivals and all those things, I'm like, nah,
Uh-huh.
it's too many people. So I'd rather just have like a small like dinner or just stay home and
Uh,
watch something. Yeah. So
yeah.
I have to pick and choose. Like, do you really want this, or that's just a fantasy in your head? Yes.
Okay. So are you an introverted person?
I am an introvert, but because of
Oh,
business, I
oh,
have to be like an extrovert.
oh, oh. Wow. I always feel introverted people is more sensitive.
We think a lot, that's why.
Yes, yes. I talk a lot.
I think we should balance each other out.
Yeah, yes, yes, yes. Next question. What does writing allow you to express that design doesn't? And what does design allow you to express that writing can't?
Hmm. Well, with design, you are limited and you have to think about the client, like you're client focused when it comes to design. And for example, if you have a project and you want to put like 13 lightings in a room, what if it's not within the budget of the client? You can't really do that. So, in a way, you have to be disciplined with interior design or decorating compared to writing. Like I said before, writing, you can do anything you want. There are no limits. You still need to have your readers in mind while doing that, but you're in control of how far you go or how wide you want to go with it. So, yeah.
Wow, that's so cool.
Thank you.
Yes, you have two words. Like one let you dream with no limits, and another
Mhm.
asks you to make that dream become true.
Yes.
That's so cool. Was there ever a project that stayed with you in a deeper way, and what made that one feel different?
I would say it was the Oriela project, the one in Oakville. That's the one I used two pages curtain for. That was our
Mm-hmm.
first time using it.
Mm-hmm.
And normally we do e-design, virtual design projects, but
Mm-hmm.
this one was going to be in person. And this was the first time because we're working for a large family. This is a family of 11.
Mm-hmm.
And we had a small time span to complete this project. That is where having collaborators come in, right? Because, okay, we said, okay, this person, you're in charge of this room, you're in charge of this room, you're in charge of this room. Then all of us will come together and I won't say critique, but say, okay, is this design okay? Is this okay? And everything. And while I led the project, but this one stuck with me. It was nice meeting the family. This was an amazing family. All the kids, the husband, the wife, all of them, and even the vendors that we worked with, the contractors, they were really lovely people as well. So I really enjoyed this one. It was stressful, but I enjoyed it.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, suffer for passion.
So for passion, yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. How did you come to understand about that family and what they need for their home?
So the woman, the lady of the house, she loves gold and
Mm,
wanted that to be almost everywhere in the house. So where we came in was,
mm,
okay, how can we balance this
mm,
and not make it too overwhelming? Because they wanted a luxury. If you think about like a European transitional style, that kind of
mm,
theme,
mm,
then yeah, that was the theme they were going for. And they were also Muslim, so they wanted Muslim arts
mm,
around, like in the common area, like the living room, the dining room, and I think the hallway, like
mm,
the hallway downstairs. So luckily for us at the time, we also had someone that was Muslim and as part of our team. So she helped with sourcing that as well as with the wife and the husband. So yeah, just thinking about knowing how to balance that part to make it luxury, to make it not overwhelming as well. Then also trying to cater to everybody's taste as well, because if it's a family of 11, then we need to figure out how everybody can be happy. If that makes
mm.
sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes. Oh, I feel it's really hard to make everybody happy, right?
It's hard. It's hard. Maybe like for example, the little girls,
Mm-hmm.
we focused on their room. Their
Mm-hmm.
room was okay. They like yellow and pink. It was easy.
Mm-hmm.
But the
Mm-hmm.
boys, the boys upstairs, they like blue. So I'm like, all right,
Oh.
that's my area of expertise. I love blue too. Let's work it out. And then the older guys, they didn't really care about much.
Uh-huh.
So we just went for something more neutral, like red and I believe black and whites combined
Uh-huh.
together for them. They were easy. They're like, yeah, like
Uh-huh.
we just want a place to stay. Like
Uh-huh.
they really care. But then the wife and husband, yeah, we
Mm-hmm.
needed to make sure that that luxury feel, even the living room itself, the company we collaborated with for the custom wall, both in their
Mm-hmm.
bedroom and living room, they did an amazing job. So they were really helpful there too. Yeah,
I can feel there's a lot of life happening under one roof.
yeah,
Yeah, you also mentioned using two pages curtains in that
yes.
project. I love to hear about that choice.
Well, the best thing about your company is that we wanted something that felt because your page had been on my radar for a while. I just saved it. I'm like I'm going to use them one day rather than going to the store to get it. And for this client, the style they wanted was like a grand style where you have the inside with a sheer and then the outside with the other part. So this was like the perfect situation to use two pages, the perfect project to use two pages. Also, the color we chose, it just kind of helped with balancing out the entire home because we're already working with heavy colors like blue and gold and all that. And we needed something to just when you enter, like feel okay, it feels peaceful. And that was where two pages came in. So it was nice having it. And I like that the delivery wasn't even like
Oh,
long. Yeah, it
oh,
was very
oh,
quick and
yeah.
very responsive. I remember we needed like extra rings at some point. We ordered and it came
Mm-hmm.
like really fast. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, thank you. It's our honor. Is there one thing you hope people understand about home beyond beauty, beyond design? What would it be?
I would say your home should feel like yours. It should
Mm-hmm.
be a safe space. I I spoke about trends before. The thing people need to understand about trends is that they come and go. You need to feel like every decision that you made in that home represents you.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I know some people put their homes for TikTok and content and all that. But while you're doing that, also remember that you also need to enjoy it. Don't make your entire home white and neutral. And
Mm-hmm.
it's like an art gallery where you can't even enjoy and sit down properly. Choose colors that make you happy. Choose items. If you travel, then have those items there, just sitting somewhere. So when you look at it, you remember, like, oh yeah, I remember this moment when people come into your home. Let it be that they can tell a story. One thing Nigerians are known for, maybe the Western world as well, but I remember in my home, we had like all these pictures of us everywhere. Like my dad would have like his own picture of ours, family pictures everywhere. And you see people when they come in, they're just looking like, oh, this is a nice picture. Like, oh, this is from your chieftaincy. This is when we went to the studio, blah, blah, blah. So tell a story with everything in your home. Well, almost everything at least. Yeah.
I love it. I feel so true. And Stephanie, thank you so much for being here. I really love this
Having me.
conversation.
It was
Yeah.
lovely meeting you finally. I can't wait to see other projects that you get to do and two
Mm,
pages and
mm.
just telling people, helping people tell their stories. This was such an honor. Thank you for choosing me for this.
Thanks for your openness, for your support, for your patience. And thank you to everyone for listening to Not Just a Home Thing, a podcast by Two Pages. I'm Natalie. I will see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.